Good evening, I'm Katerina Georgieva. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, we jump right into the day's top story, the federal budget. It was unveiled by Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland, and it projects a deficit about $10 billion higher than forecast. Rafi Bujikanian has more.
This government's seventh budget, the finance minister is finding something to smile about.
I am so proud to announce the creation of a new Canadian dental care plan.
With a $13 billion investment over 5 years to back it up. To qualify, Canadians will need to make less than $90,000 a year. But this expert says spending in the budget overall is modest, predicting moodier times ahead.
The private sector is not optimistic about the Canadian economy in 2023. They've reduced their growth projections for 2023.
A big part of what the government is spending is in clean tech. $21 billion over the next 5 years, $80 billion by 2034, encouraging private sector investment in revamping the electricity grid, also for more carbon capture and clean hydrogen.
I really believe we are at a turning point. President Biden was here in Ottawa on Friday. He said this is an inflection point of the kind that you encounter every 5 or 6 generations. A failure to put forward a comprehensive, effective, and adequately financed plan to build the clean economy of the 21st century would mean consigning Canada to deindustrialization.
Money targeted to traditionally male-dominated industries. Some observers say the cash should have come with strings attached to help women in the workforce, same as what the USA is doing with its Inflation Reduction Act.
Where did the feminist government of Canada go? We're not even mimicking everything that Joe Biden put in the IRA. For example, in the IRA, when they say, yeah, we'll give you money to pivot towards green energy, you make sure you provide childcare for your workers. It's not there.
The government is still pointing to inexpensive childcare across the country by 2026. And this year, for low-income Canadians, it's also introducing a one-time grocery rebate worth $2.5 billion overall. Rafi Bujikanian, CBC News, Ottawa.
And folks in Windsor are expressing mixed reviews when it comes to that grocery rebate announced in the budget. TJ Deere has reaction now from locals and from those who provide food to lower-income residents.
Although Windsor residents say they're happy they'll get some money back to pay for groceries, they want more.
It's just a drop in the bucket, but like I said, I'm grateful for anything that I get because my income is so small.
I just don't understand why the food prices keep rising. It just seems to be ridiculous. It's never enough, you know, what you get, but it's better than nothing.
Groceries are expensive. Like I work at the Dollar Tree and people are coming in here and buying groceries now, which is good for our company. But mostly your head lettuce and stuff like that, that is so expensive. People aren't going to be able to eat.
Organizations that provide food to lower income residents are also not pleased with the lack of money that will be provided. This is what roughly $230 of food looks like, according to the UHC Hub of Opportunities. They've been providing food to lower income Windsor residents for 35 years. Their CEO says that despite the handouts from Ottawa, people will still have to rely on food banks.
It's very disappointing, and I was expecting more and hoping for more for people because food inflation is higher than inflation.
Another organization that's not pleased is the University Community Church. The church offers a home-cooked meal to University of Windsor students in need.
I've had students tell me, this month I have to decide if I'm going to buy some bread or I'm going to buy some milk. The need is much greater than those amounts.
It definitely isn't enough. Today alone, we had 6 people knock on our door for food cards that we give away, in addition to the food cupboard that we have. So while it is something, it will not be sufficient.
While NDP leader Jagmeet Singh supported the grocery rebate, saying it's something his party has pushed for, others, such as Alberta Conservative MP Garnet Jennis, say that while the money helps, it's not addressing the core problem of rising inflation and that Canadians will see through that. Muir agrees with Jennis's assessment.
We need to look at the root causes. We need policy change.
Brown provided another possible solution.
Maybe talk to the grocers and actually get prices reduced right from the beginning.
The timing of the one-time payments will depend on how quickly the federal government can pass legislation to implement the budget passed. TJ Deere, CBC News, Windsor.
Meanwhile, the head of Walmart Canada is the latest grocery chain executive to be grilled during the House Agriculture Committee hearing. While being questioned by MPs yesterday, he denied the company is price gouging. Anis Haidari has the details.
The CEO of Walmart Canada, the fourth grocery head to testify in front of the Federal Agriculture Committee. It's looking into food inflation and why it's so high in Canada these days. Weeks ago, politicians heard from Loblaws, Metro and Sobeys. This time around, Walmart, an American giant that is a big player in the Canadian supermarket world. The CEO says his company actually saw profits go down recently, at least when it comes to food.
Walmart Canada is not attempting to profit from these inflationary conditions. In fact, Walmart Canada's gross profit rate for its food business actually declined last year.
Politicians on this committee couldn't get all the specifics they wanted, with Walmart saying its sales numbers in Canada are competitively sensitive. It's similar messaging to the Canadian executives testifying earlier. All insist their stores aren't profiteering and that everyone's costs have gone up, including retailers. Experts say that's possible.
I hit on the fact that they're paying more. Their inflation for what the goods that they're paying rose faster than the inflation that we as consumers saw.
Certainly, costs have gone up right across the supply chain. So I can certainly see that if supplies are tight and they're having to pay a lot more for supplies, then that's feasible. But again, without seeing the data, it's pretty hard to verify if that would be the case.
Retailers, including Walmart, have said they are providing at least some of that data to the Federal Competition Bureau. It's working on a report about grocery prices in Canada, but that's not due out until June. Anis Haidari, CBC News, Calgary.
Turning to Quebec now, where a police officer has died after being attacked by a man with a knife. The officer, Maureen Brault, and her colleague were in the process of arresting the man at the time. The other officer was injured. The officers were responding to reports of a man making threats in a small town about 100 kilometers northeast of Montreal. The man was killed by two other officers who arrived after the attack. The 35-year-old had previous run-ins with law enforcement but was never found criminally responsible. Brault had been on the department for more than 20 years. She had a husband who was also a police officer and two children. An investigation is underway. And to another difficult story in the United States now, where another mass shooting at a school is once again renewing calls for stricter gun control. 3 students, all 9 years old, and 3 adult staff members were killed at a private Christian school in Nashville yesterday afternoon.
We owe it to the parents. Everybody that's attending every vigil in Nashville feels that there needs to be a public response to this kind of tragedy, and to say enough is enough, and when are we going to learn?
Nashville police have named the shooter as Audrey Hale. The 28-year-old was a former student at the school and was killed by police who responded to the attack. Video released by police shows Hale arriving in a small vehicle, then blasting the glass out of the front doors of the school to gain access. Hale was armed with an assault-style rifle, an assault-style pistol, and another handgun. Police say the attack was part of an elaborate plan and there were other targets. Investigators have recovered a map, a so-called manifesto, and more guns. Provinces like ours are touting for-profit clinics as a solution to long surgical wait times, but some patients say they feel taken advantage of, talked into paying for unnecessary tests and procedures, and in some cases, billed for services they're not supposed to pay for. Christine Birak brings us the story of one woman who was upsold by thousands of dollars.
But in the beginning, they were $300 a prescription.
Lois Cooper says a private for-profit surgery clinic in Ontario cost her plenty, including her trust.
I wouldn't have ever spoken out if I hadn't heard Premier Ford say that these private clinics won't charge you money, won't charge extra. It feels like it's my public duty to say that's not true.
In 2016, Cooper had a macular hole in her right eye, causing a dark spot at the center of her vision. Within weeks, she saw an ophthalmologist. Cooper says she had vitrectomy surgery in a warehouse-like clinic and went home with bills.
I'd been sent there by my medical professionals So that would mean to me that this is where you should be and this is how it's done.
Cooper's vitrectomy surgery was medically necessary, which the province pays for. But before that surgery happened, she was upsold and asked to sign off on optional tests, services, and procedures. She says the surgeon later recommended equipment, referrals, and a treatment for eye floaters that failed. Then Cooper says he told her there was a mass in her other eye requiring more surgery. That's when she started asking questions.
Where is it in the eye? What layer is it in? Where is it? And he just looked at me and he said, "You can leave." And then he turned to his assistant and he said to her, he said, "Charge this appointment to OHIP." So I didn't have to pay for that appointment, but I had to pay for all the rest.
Cooper says she then went to another surgeon who told her there was no mass in her eye.
You don't have 10 years of medical training under your belt, so you're at a huge disadvantage when you're presented with information.
Data shows private for-profit clinics are overbilling and upselling Canadians for hundreds of millions of dollars.
We need to be concerned about upselling because it's the thin edge of the wedge towards extra billing, where patients are told they can only get something that's publicly covered if they pay out of pocket.
I just want people to be aware that when they go to a private clinic, make sure you ask questions, don't sign any papers, go there first and get all the information on what they're going to want from you, and then maybe go talk to somebody else.
Cooper says her vision is fine now. She can't figure out what purpose another surgery would have served, except profit.
That report from CBC's Christine Birak. More funding is being allocated to bring more skilled immigrant workers to Ontario.
Ontario has the jobs, the world has the talent. This investment in the increase in skilled workers from around the world is on top of the historic investments we're making to train the workforce of tomorrow.
$25 million in additional funding over the next 3 years will go toward the Ontario Immigrant Nominee Program. It allows the province to nominate individuals for permanent residence who have the skills and experience to contribute to the economy. It focuses on people in the skilled trades and healthcare. The province hopes to double the number of economic immigrants to 18,000 by 2025. And it's that time of year again. It is time to vote for the worst roads in Ontario.
Our research shows that 59% of Ontarians say the province's roads have worsened, with many citing cracks in pavement, potholes, congestions, and being the top road-related issues.
The campaign isn't just about bad roads. The CAA also wants to hear about poor road signs, the timing of lights, and pedestrian and cycling infrastructure and safety. This is the 20th year the campaign has been held. And you can nominate some bad roads in Windsor by going to CAAWorstRoads.com. Last year, Lozon Parkway was voted the worst road, followed by University Avenue West and Tecumseh Road East. The smells of Windsor. That's the inspiration behind a line of perfumes created by a 4-person group of high school business students. The venture is called YQG Essence, and it's a partnership with an entrepreneurship program at the University of Windsor. Each fragrance is connected to a local landmark. I stopped by the high school for a chat and a scent challenge.
So basically, it was a lot of research we went through. A lot of our team members helped us find different solutions on how to make a scent, and we also wanted to be completely eco-friendly. So we decided on essential oils, a mixture of those to create the perfect scent based off of Windsor, and that makes it organic and vegan as well. And then from there, we just took a weekend aside, made it, and bottled it all up for sale.
So where did you get your inspiration from for some of these different, very Windsor things?
We basically decided to think of really recognizable landmarks in Windsor. So the waterfront scent is inspired by the Windsor waterfront. Everybody recognizes that. And then Jackson Park, it's a beautiful park in downtown Windsor. So we wanted to do a floral scent for that. And then Ojibwe Park is really known for their cedar trees, and we wanted to do like a woodsy smell as well.
So now we're going to do a little scent test. Okay. Oh. I'm not good with my scents. I'm realizing it in this very moment. This is going to be hard. I want to say Riviera Blue. Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah.
It like it smells blue. I don't know. I don't know. It's like there's that fresh waterfront feeling. Okay. Awesome. Great. Okay. Next. Oh, this is Jackson Park. Oh, no, it's the cedar one. Yeah, Cedar Rouge. There we go. I told you I'm not good with this with smelling. Okay, let's smell the last one, even though I know which one it is. Oh yeah, that's much more florally, isn't it?
Yes.
That's lovely. You can smell like the like roses.
Yeah. That's actually what's in it. One of the ingredients is roses.
Awesome. This is really cool, you guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's great. I had a lot of fun with that. Let's take a live look outside there. We had a beautiful sunny day, and I hope you're able to get outside and enjoy it because there are some rain showers or flurries possibly in the forecast for tomorrow. Colette will be here right after the break, and she will talk us through it. Stay with us. Colette Kennedy is here now for a look at our weather forecast. And Colette, today was just so beautiful. I went outside. I left my jacket in here when I went on a shoot earlier. Just lovely.
Yeah, some of the nicest conditions really in the province, definitely in southwestern Ontario, Windsor, but pretty nice in Sarnia as well. Not too bad towards Chatham-Kent. And London started off with a little bit of freezing fog, but fairly brief, and then a pretty decent day there too, but not quite as warm. Windsor getting up to just over 9 degrees, so lovely there. But tomorrow everything changes, and there's a lot that's going to be going on. So I'm breaking it down into portions for the day. The morning, dry, and maybe still even some sunny breaks to get the day going. But by the time we get close to lunch and into the afternoon, we get rain, which will then change over to some blowing snow. Now it's light, but blowing around, reducing visibility because of the winds. And then behind that front, we'll have clearer skies, but colder air is going to filter in. It's not going to last for too long. It's just going to be a cooler start on Thursday than we've had for a few days here. So those current temperatures still holding on at some beautiful numbers, that 9 in Windsor, but Sarnia still at 8. Chatham-Kent, not bad. The lake breeze can have an impact there. And just looking at how the winds are going to play out as the front approaches as we go into tomorrow then, for the early part of the day, it's going to be that southerly flow. That's going to kick the temperatures up, but the front will come through and then change things around. So into the afternoon, the winds will change direction to the northwest, and that'll push the temperatures down. So they won't keep coming up, climbing into the afternoon. They'll turn in the other direction. So the more tranquil conditions tonight, a few little isolated showers or wet flurries, not out of the question. You see that little line going through the overnight hours. There wouldn't be much to that at all. I don't doubt it will even make it to the ground. But this is what we want to see, that front coming in. We get into the lunch hour just after. Some of that rain changes over to snow as the colder air moves in. And then by the time we're getting into the late afternoon and early evening, already into clearing. Now, some stronger winds behind mean that there will be some lake effects setting up. But I anticipate that we'll just get into the clear skies and then some sun for Thursday before the next one starts to set its sights on us. And so that's going to be overnight Thursday. This is 11 p.m., so late hours, evening hours to the overnight. But that's just the outskirts of it. It's actually going to have an impact on us as we go, not just Thursday night, but into Friday night, and Saturday, at least for the first part of the weekend before it moves on. Temperatures tonight, that range, overnight tonight, 0 to around -1 to -2. And then just checking out up to 8 at least, I would think, and then that temperature falling off, 0 to perhaps even cooler than that. We'll watch this because I think we could slide definitely below that 0. Thursday, 7 degrees, and then there we go, that mild air that comes in, but we have to take it as it comes with the wet conditions, Katarina, there at the end of the week.
Thanks so much for that, Colette.
You're welcome.
We will have more news updates for you when we come back. Stay with us. Fire investigators are on the scene today after a Calgary house explosion that seriously injured at least 10 people yesterday.
We have one home that's completely destroyed, plus 2 that were on fire from exposure. We also have 8 other homes that have been damaged by this. If you see in there, there's actually debris everywhere. It was quite a significant explosion.
The explosion was felt for blocks in all directions. Most of the victims are believed to have been inside the house when it blew up. So far, officials have not been able to determine a cause for the blast, but arson investigators are looking for evidence of any criminal activity. Let's turn to Manitoba now, where a 12-year-old girl is being credited with saving her little brother's lives when a fire broke out in the basement of their family home earlier this month.
So I ran upstairs and I grabbed both of my siblings and my 2 animals and went out and called 911 right away. I was just bawling my eyes out, super scared because of one of my cats. She was dead already in there, and I thought she could make it out, but she didn't. And yeah, so it was just super scary for me.
Emily Newfield was home alone with her 2 siblings when the fire broke out and quickly spread through the basement. She got her brothers out of the house in time. The family was later told the source of the fire was a plug-in wax warmer that had been too close to a towel. Despite strict new border rules between Canada and the U.S. introduced days ago, dozens of migrants have still attempted to enter Canada at Quebec's Roxham Road over the past few days. But those new border rules announced during the U.S. presidential visit last week mean those crossing the border can't claim asylum after crossing into Canada, with a few exceptions. People that enter Canada at irregular border points like Roxham Road and try to claim asylum could be sent back to the United States. Canada agreed to accept 15,000 migrants through legal channels as part of the deal. Some of the best Canadian swimmers from across the country are gathering in Toronto this morning today to kick off national trials. The competition will determine who makes the teams for several championships as well as the Pan Am Games. Devin Haru has more.
It has been dubbed the fastest pool in Canada. More than 100 records set here since 2014 at the Toronto Pan Am Sports Centre. And now Canada's top talent gets set to perhaps break more records throughout the National Swimming Trials, which get started here today. More than 640 athletes from across the country gathered here. This is a pivotal event, and it'll go a long way in selecting the World Championship and the Para World Championship teams, as well as the Pan Am and Para Pan Am teams. All eyes are going to be on 16-year-old swimming sensation Summer McIntosh, seemingly breaking records every time she is in the pool. She gets set to take to the pool for the first time on Tuesday night, but there is so much depth on this Canadian team. Josh Liendo, a 20-year-old from Markham, setting the world on fire in the NCAAs a short time ago. Maggie McNeil, Olympic champion. She's had another outstanding season. And on and on. They're all going to be here. They're all going to be competing, as well as the para athletes and junior athletes throughout the week of competition. It all wraps up on Sunday. You can watch it all on CBC Sports. Talent like never before in this Canadian swimming program. For CBC Sports at the Pan Am Sports Centre, I'm Devin Haru.
That is it for CBC Windsor News. For news anytime, go to our website, cbc.ca/Windsor, and you can, of course, always find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.